Thank you very much, Brian, for that very, very warm welcome and for the wonderful introduction. And, it is indeed a pleasure for me to be here today, and it's always wonderful to see so many familiar faces. I really enjoyed coming here. I told Albert, you guys did a wonderful job remodeling this room, providing the screens, and just a great audiovisual technology. So again, I'm just so pleased to be here today. And before I start my presentation, I would just like to give some statistics about what our department has done this past year. Our ownership and legal services staff, we reviewed and processed over 400,000 deeds. In addition, our exemptions unit enrolled over 40,000 homeowners and 13,000 major exemption claims. Our public service staff and our district offices handled 285,000 phone calls and 65,000 visits to our public counters. And in addition, the collective efforts of our appraisal and support staff in the district and major appraisals resulted in the enrollment of over 85,000 property transfers. In addition, over 62,000 new construction events were reviewed and assessed. And leading into the decline of value update, over 340,000 parcels were included in this year's decline of value review, with approximately 86% receiving either partial or full restoration of their factor-based value. And not only that, we're very pleased to report that the increase to the assessment roll for 2014 is 5.47%. This is, I believe, the fourth straight year that we've had an increase in assessed value since the recession. And our assessment roll is well over $1 trillion in Los Angeles County. Okay, so let me get on to the presentation. Decline in value, has the market recovered? Okay, so what's happening in the market is, well, you see, this is what we call a heat map, and in the green areas, it's reflecting increases in value, changes in value, that positive changes. There's only small pockets where the, will that be there?
Yeah.
Where it's yellow, that's a negative. But that's just very few. For the most part, we're seeing increases. Now, the median sales price, how are we doing? There's this gray line right there. That's the value as of January 1, 2014. So the blue line here, actually it's gray or blue, represents single family, and the red are the condo markets. So at the peak in the Antelope Valley, it was $375 for a residential. At the bottom, it was about $120,000. So we're looking at, as of January 1, 2014, it's $185,000. For the condos, it's $239,900. The bottom was $52,000, and right now, as of January 1 of 2014, it's $110,000. Now, part of the decline in value process is these properties here currently have a temporary decline in value. So as the market comes back, we will be restoring or increasing that assessment. So we're not quite back to way up here yet in Antelope Valley. We're slowly making gains here. At least it's not declining anymore, it's pretty much stabilized. Sitting here for Long Beach. In 2014, January 1, we're at 403,000. At the peak, it was about 525,000 for residential. At the bottom, it was 295. So again, we're making gains. Pasadena, West San Gabriel Valley, our area. At the peak, it was about 690,000. The bottom was about 478.5. And right now, we're at 649. So I would say this area has done a very good job in coming back. Condo market was at the peak 495. The bottom was 360, and right now we're at 446. Okay, coastal LA County, Malibu. So at the peak of the market, excuse me. Let's were at 1.8 million. And at the bottom it was 1.3 million. And right now, as of January 1, it's at 1.6. So again, look at the line here. That's where we're at for the January number. So when the values were down here, the properties that were acquired here received temporary declines in value. So overall for LA County, this is the market. 584, this, the median for LA County. The bottom was at 300,000. So that was back in March of 09. And as of January 1 of 014, the average is about 442. Condos were 492. And at the bottom it was 280,000. And right now, as of January 1 of 014, it's at 390. So, we've restored quite a few properties, or we've made increases to a number of properties that had that temporary decline in value. So the numbers here, this is reviews that we've done in our office. So in 2008, we practically reviewed 325,000 properties out of about 1.8 million single-family homes. And in 09, 484,000. In 010, which is our biggest number, 583,000 single-family homes and condos. And from that point on, it's been going down. So for 011, 474, 012, 496, 5, 013, 390,000, 014, about 343,000, and we're anticipating for 015 for our review about 240,000 properties. This is our timeline of the work. We've completed the reviews, and for the reviews that were done for 014, notices were sent out, so I'm going to go over those notices real quickly. Right now, we're in the property owner initiated review period. And the new filing period for a decline in value for 014 is July 2nd through November 30th. So this is a notice that some of you may have had questions on, or that your clients may have questions on. You received this notice. It's a notice of review of the 2014 value. So this basically says, it's pretty much the same in all the letters, and really where you want to go to is this part here, determine the market value of the reviewed property, which is the third paragraph. The main sentence is, this review indicated that the market value of your property has not decreased for the last year for 013 assessed value. Your 2014, 2015 taxes will be based on the 2014 assessed value displayed below. So this number here, the 2014 Prop 13 value, this is the actual Prop 13 value. This is what the value was for 013. So for our determination, or the factored Prop 13 value here is 434,204. Last year, it was 381,000. That was the temporary decline in value. And because there's been no change, we've determined that for 014, for the bill that's going to come out in October of 014, it's going to be no change. It'll be at 381,000. So again, this number reflects the actual Prop 13 value for 014. That's the actual Prop 13, this column here. This is the value from last year, and this is the value that the property owner will receive a bill on. Okay. So for this one here, again, we'll just read the description. So this review indicated that a further assessed value reduction is warranted. That's the main part here, is this third paragraph. And so when you look here, again, for the 014, the Prop 13 value is over $600,000. Last year's temporary decline in value, last year's 2013 assessed value was at $536,000. Based on our review, because maybe in that particular area, the values were down, for 014, we've determined that the value will be $505,000. So when the taxpayer gets that property tax bill in October of 014, it'll reflect the $505,000 assessment. Next sheet. Again, Third paragraph. The review indicated that the market value of your property has increased from the 013 assessed value. So the 2014, the Proposition 13 value is about $723,000. Last year's assessment was at $469,000. Based on our review, sales indicate that for 2014, as of January 1 of 2014, the assessed value will be $533,000. Note that this number, the 533, is still less than the $723,000 Prop 13 value. So this particular owner still has a decline in value on their property, but they will see an increase in their assessment in their 2014 tax bill. And the last example is, this review indicated that the market value of your property has increased from last year's to the level that now exceeds the 2014 Proposition 13 value. So basically, this property's value was restored. This is their 2014 Proposition 13 at $453,769. They had $422,000 last year. So for 014 this year, we basically restored it. It's at $453,769. They're back at their full Prop 13 value. We restored the assessments here. That's basically that notice in a nutshell. I know there's a lot of verbiage here, but just really look at the description here, and just remember, this column here is the Proposition 13 value. That's the protected value. This is what was last year, and this is what it's going to be this year. Now, you can always find information on the decline in value on our website. So just go right there to where it says My Decline in Value Review. And when you click that and you enter the appropriate information, it'll let you know what the 2014 value will be based on our review. Again, filing period, July 2nd through November 30th. And we're able to file online for decline in value. However, if you're going to file online, you will need to input the PIN number right there. The PIN number is actually found on your annual property tax bill. You guys know where your PIN number can be found on the annual bill. If not, in your red folder or in the blue folder that was distributed, there's a sample of a annual property tax bill, and it's in box number 6. And it'll say PIN. So that's the number you will input if you want to file for decline in value review online. And we can also do mail-in. These are just numbers here. In 2009, we received 106,000. So these are just the numbers of how many reviews we've done in the past couple of years. And for 013, we're down to 10,600. So, you know, it's good. And we are hoping that more people will file online. In 013, we received 10,600 applications. 3,000 were filed online. 7,600 were filed by mail. Okay, are there questions regarding the decline in value review and the process? Okay, let me move on into Proposition 1690, which I know some of you had questions on. Prop 1690 is also known as the Senior Citizens Replacement Dwelling Benefit. I don't have a PowerPoint for that, I'm just going to talk about it. But if you want to look at something, there's a green brochure that's in the folder. It's Prop 1690. Under Proposition 60, seniors, and a senior is anyone 55 or older, can sell their primary residence. Primary means that that property is eligible for a homeowners or veterans exemption, or it has a homeowners or veterans exemption on it. They can sell their primary residence and acquire a replacement residence of equal or lesser value. If they meet all the statutory requirements and if they file timely, we can transfer their Prop 13 value from the original property to their replacement property. The intent of the law is to allow seniors to downsize without being penalized with higher property taxes. Let me give you an example. Let's say a senior bought a home in Malibu way back in the 60s. They got it for a good value. At the time they sold it, let's say in the late 90s, they sold it for over $1 million. Now under Prop 13, their assessed value was only $80,000. So at the time of sale, their assessed value was $80,000. They sold it for over $1 million. They bought a replacement home in Long Beach. They paid $900,000. They filed for a Prop 60. They filed timely. They were over 55 at the time they sold the original. It was their primary residence, and they bought a replacement property that was less than what they sold the original for. Remember, they sold it for $1 million. They bought for less. They filed for the Prop 60. If they meet all these requirements, we're able to carry that $80,000 assessed value from Malibu to their replacement home in Long Beach. So instead of paying property taxes on $900,000, they're paying property taxes on $80,000. It's a tax savings for seniors.
What counties accept it?
Currently, under Proposition 90, there are 9 counties that will accept a base value transfer from another county. There's 4 in Northern California, 5 in Southern California. So the Northern California counties are Santa Clara, San Mateo, El Dorado, and Alameda. And the 5 in Southern California, Ventura, Los Angeles, Orange, San Diego, and Riverside recently opted in September 19th, 2013. So we've got 5 counties here in Southern California that will take another county's base value. Yes, sir.
I was told that
Microphone.
Fully could go up to 105% of the value when you purchase.
Yes. So going back then to Prop 60, if you buy the replacement within the first year of selling the original, you get a 5% inflationary factor. To make math simple for me, if I sold my original for $500,000 and I bought a replacement within the first year and I'm using the 5%, I can buy up to $525,000 within the first year. If I buy the replacement within the second year, it's a 10% inflationary factor. I can buy up to $550,000. But I have to stress we're looking at the fair market value. If you're going to buy a distressed property and you're paying $525,000, you will have to be careful that we may not accept that reported purchase price, especially if it's foreclosure. So you could pay $525,000 for a foreclosure, but if the fair market value is $540,000 and you're filing for a Prop 60, your claim might be denied because it does not meet the equal or lesser test.